Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Everything Wrong with Turnabout Storm. This is a donation reward. And for those who don't know, Turnabout Storm is a crossover fan series on YouTube that crosses over the My Little Pony universe and the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney universe. It was made a long time ago, like I want to say like 2012 or 2013, somewhere like in that area. And is, in my opinion, still one of the best made My Little Pony based fan works. It is just so well made, from the voice acting, even though not all the voice acting's amazing, but a lot of work was put into it. But you also have the sprite work, the story, the general writing of it all. I think it really fits both universes, and I think the characters are really well understood on both sides. This is something I don't think I reacted to on any of my old channels or whatnot. But I did react to the first episode of the spiritual successor sequel to it, which came out a while back and hasn't had an update since. But yeah, I did react to the first episode of that, and so that's on the channel. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me right now. But yeah, so Turnabout Storm. Basically, the general plot of it is that Phoenix Wright is magically transported to the land of Equestria by a spell that Twilight Sparkle casts. Her friend Rainbow Dash is accused of murder, and she asks Phoenix to help clear Rainbow's name. That's the general plot of it. You see a lot of other characters in the Turnabout Storm series, such as Trixie, you see Gilda, you see some original characters like this one pony named Sonata. And it's a really fun, enjoyable series. Is it the best in terms of its overall quality? Maybe not. I've seen some fan works out there that have an overall insane amount of general quality. And Turnabout Storm does have some issues here and there. Like I said, some of the voice acting is a bit wonky. Some of it sounds like it was just not recorded well. Yada, yada, yada. And while the story is great, there are... I definitely believe there are some issues here and there. And it's not perfect. I never expect anything I watch to be perfect. Even my favorite show of all time that I've reacted to now, Carol and Tuesday, it's not perfect. But yeah. Either way, I really enjoyed Turnabout Storm. I've seen it probably a dozen times, to be honest. All the way through, because I've seen it, I saw it a couple times on my own, but I've also seen it with multiple different reactors when they put up their reactions to it. So it's I've seen it quite a bit. And it's still really good. Now this is a Everything Wrong With, though, so as with most of these Everything Wrong With videos, no matter who's making them, a lot of these are probably going to be nitpicks and jokes. It's not meant to be taken fully seriously, but there will also be some legitimate issues that will be brought up. And I'm interested to see what he points out. Or she, I actually don't know. The person who put out these videos is Lopon View. I've never heard of this person before. I don't think I've seen any of their works, if they do have other works. But this is something that does interest me, because again, I am very familiar with Turnabout Storm. Hell, I have a poster for it in my room. No joke. I have a poster in my room for it right now. um, I got the poster at BronyCon, but for free. But still, I mean, I like it, so it's not like I wouldn't have gotten the poster anyway. But yeah, I am definitely interested to see where this goes. I can't say I'm excited because it isn't everything wrong with, and it is like one of my favorite MLP fan projects ever. So I'm not going to exactly say I'm excited, but I'm very interested again to see what's pointed out. It is a 5-part series, but I am reacting to all of it today. And the reason for that is because the videos are actually fairly short. Like the first part is only 8.5 minutes long. Part 2 is only 13.5 minutes. Part 3, I think, is the longest, which is at just over 21 minutes. But then it starts going back down until Part 5, which is 30. And again, the reason I'm doing all of this in one go is just because, honestly, I don't want this to be like another one of those Mauler series, like the Resident Evil 7 critique I was reacting to, where it's just like there's like way too long in between each episode, and I just want to get to more and more so I don't keep putting it on the back burner, you know? So, yeah. We're just going to get to all of it today. Now, I assume since there's 5 parts, they're going to correspond with the 5 parts of the actual series of Turnabout Storm. So, like part 1, it's going to be everything wrong with part 1 of the series. And part 2, everything wrong with part 2 of the series, and so on and so forth. Because, yeah, the series Turnabout Storm was released in 5 parts. Originally, it was supposed to be 4, but they stretched it out, I believe. So I assume each one is going to be going like that, which is why some of them are, why they get longer and longer, because the parts of the actual series got longer. And, yeah, they were actually pretty damn long. I think it's like 8 hours total for the entire thing. Which, considering it is based off the Phoenix Wright games, and it's basically a case in the Phoenix Wright series. For a case of the game, that's, I think, actually even pretty long for that, but fair enough. Taking that into account, it's at least reasonable enough. Now, like with everything, the link is down in the description below to redirect to this, because even though this is a YouTube series that is also, like, talking about a YouTube series in itself, just to be safe, I am redirecting it because I don't want any copyright issues with this channel. I just don't want to risk anything. So we are redirecting everything. So, yeah, that includes this. So it will be on BitChute and Google Photos, so check that out there. Again, links are in the description below. And we're just going to get this started. I kind of messed, by saying that at that point, I kind of messed up my little, like, let's get this started, talk, but we're going to go with it anyway. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the everything wrong with. I don't know what else to call it. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, while he did have some good points at times, these videos were extremely hard to watch. Normally with these kinds of videos, the everything wrong with videos, the narrator speaking, the person who made the video, is usually pretty funny or charming or has some kind of wit about them. The way they talk about everything kind of comes across as very just entertaining and unique and interesting. this person was very boring and was doing a couple things very wrong. First off, uh, pointing out every little grammar issue in every single part was so boring. It took so long and it wasn't needed. Most of these people who do the everything wrong with videos would just give one big point, or hell, even maybe up to 5 points or so, or even just being like going a little far, maybe even 10 for just all the grammar issues in the video across the board. And they'd get that like right out of the way at the beginning. It's like, oh, we're just going to give 10 points for all grammar issues for this video. And it's like, okay. But instead, he interjects the entire video to go through every single grammar issue in that part. And it ruins the pacing of the video. It hurts the overall feel of it, especially when he's going into grammar issues and stuff that come into play later on in the story than when he starts it. And granted, yes, if you're watching this, you should have probably seen the actual Turnabout Storm. But even with knowing what's going to happen and everything, it's still, in terms of how you pace videos out, you don't interrupt the main story to go on this tangent about something that uses parts of the story you have not talked about yet. Also, while I expected most of his little things to be nitpicks, because that's how these videos always go, he gave sins or points to things that weren't issues and weren't even nitpicks. He gave points and stuff when he made jokes. It's like, oh, I'm going to make a random joke here. Have a point. Why not? He did that not even just 1 or 2 times. He did that a lot through every single one of these videos. He just gave points all willy-nilly. And again, these things combined with the fact that he just wasn't good at presenting this stuff made these a slog to sit through. And granted, I know maybe it would have been better to watch them one at a time, to do it like in the normal way I would have done this. But like I said, because just overall the parts weren't too long, I could have I thought it would be better to just get it all done in one go instead of like putting things off for, who knows, weeks on end, maybe even over a month. At points like what with what happened with Mauler's critique of Resident Evil 7. I don't want that to happen again, so I wanted to just get to it all at once. It took almost 2 hours, and unfortunately those 2 hours were extremely boring, and because of these issues that I brought up with his videos, it ended up feeling like I said, a slog to sit through. Like I was just really uninterested. Like when I saw that there were 2 part 3s, because I had forgotten that that's how the show, that's how Turnabout Storm went. There were 2 part 3s, one for Twilight and one for Phoenix, because they had split up at that point. It's like I had this like extreme dread fill me because I was so upset by it. I was just so bored by what we were already seeing, and that was only by part 3. So it's like, I've seen a lot of these kinds of things. I've seen a lot of these everything wrong with videos from multiple different creators, and none of them have been this bad. None of them have been this boring, uninteresting. None of them have made that many mistakes like that in how they actually formatted the video, and even counted sins for things that weren't even issues that they brought up, not even nitpicks. Like there's one guy I watch, I don't remember who it was, but he actually has a counter for good things, bad things, and just random jokes. He actually has a counter for random jokes he makes. That way he doesn't accidentally put the random jokes in as a sin or something. I think he also did pony content because I think one of those was for Rainbow Rocks. But either way, it's like it was just so poorly made. Like the actual graphics and stuff he put up to do like the everything wrong with style were fine, but it just was, it felt so poorly done. Also, the little gag things he done at the end, yeah, that's an everything wrong with kind of thing. But he did too many of them at points, and honestly, most of them weren't funny. In fact, they were really annoying. That's why I just straight up was skipping through them a lot. I just really did not enjoy watching this. It has nothing to do with like the actual complaints he had with the series, which he did state, by the way, he loves Turnabout Storm, and this is just a thing he's doing basically for fun and to point out the flaws it does have. I have no issues with that because I admit that the series has flaws. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge it has continuity errors and stuff that he pointed out. And those were like the legitimate things I was looking forward to with this. But then again, and the nitpicks again, I was fine with. But then he got to the stuff that he was giving points for things that weren't issues, like in any way, and he was giving those unbearably long bonus rounds, as he called them, to count every single grammar error, and it just felt like a waste of time. It just felt like a complete waste of time and was unenjoyable as hell. Um, it doesn't ruin my interest or my appreciation for Turnabout Storm, but it's definitely something I can't say I enjoyed watching, if I'm being honest. But tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.